Hey guys, so I got 2 requests to make an ASMR video. One is to read a book, which I do not have, and I do not plan on going anywhere to get this book. Okay, so I apologize, but I'm not going to do any book requests. But someone did suggest doing an Egyptian one where I talk about the gods or something, and they mentioned Bastet. And you know what? I really, really love Bastet as well. I'm a huge cat person, so I brought with me Bastet. This is not my only Bastet. I have another one. She's much bigger, but I am just going to have this Bastet with us today. So, in tribute to the goddess, and thank you. I know that. Oh, and I did bring a wiki with me. I have it on right now, but first I am going to try to talk about what I know myself about Bastet. Bastet, I know, is very a feminine goddess, and she protects the home, and she can protect women and children. She has 2 sides to her. She has her feminine, kitty, kind, motherly side, and she has her warrior lioness side, which is the goddess of chaos. And I did read a story about it. My memory is kind of fuzzy, but I think she is a daughter of Ra, and basically Sekhmet, her other self, who seeks blood and chaos, is murdering the land of Egypt. And she loved blood, so Ra, feeling bad, I think, you know what, yeah, I think Ra wanted revenge on the people, because I remember Ra at this point, he's been ruling the humans for a long time, but he was getting old because of his human form, so he's starting to look like really old and disgusting. And he overheard one of the people making fun of him or something like that. They're like, how could we have such a disgusting old man be ruling our country? And so Rob got so upset by this that he birthed Sekhmet, the lioness goddess, and she ravaged the land, and I guess Ra felt bad after what he did, so he got wine or beer or something like that. I think beer. Yes, there's not really wine in Egypt. There's no grapes. Not until like the Romans and Greeks. Anyway. So yeah, he got beer, and he used the natural red pigmented rocks to turn the beer red to look like blood, and he poured it down the hills, the land, and the goddess Sekhmet came to it and thought it was blood, so she drank it, and since it was beer, she became drunk, and Ra took her Also, I don't know if I should do quiet talking or whispers. As with many deities in Egyptian religion, she also played a role in the afterlife as a guide and helper to the dead. Although this was not one of her primary duties, she was the daughter of the sun god Ra and is associated with the concept of the Eye of Ra, the all-seeing eye, and the distant goddess. So the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus, I think I get those mixed up. I didn't know Ra. I feel like I kept hearing the Eye of Ra, but I'd be like, no, that's the Eye of Horus. But I guess the Eye of Ra is a thing for some reason. Horus lost his eye by Set, his uncle, I believe. That makes him his uncle. I don't know. And that's why you have the Eye of Horus. Why we have the Eye of Ra, I don't really know. I guess it's like the third eye, the all-seeing eye. And the distant goddess, a female deity who leaves Ra and returns to bring transformation. Meaning of Bastet's name. Her name was originally Bast, which became Ubast. Then, wait, her name was, I don't know, it says BSSD. So, Bast, her name was Bast. Became Ubast, then Bast, and then Bastet. The meaning of this name is not known, or at least not universally agreed upon. Geraldine Pinch, I'm sorry, I don't know how to read some of these names, claims that her name probably means she of the ointment jar, as she was associated with protection and protective ointments. The Greeks associated her closely with their goddess Artemis, and believed that as Artemis had a twin brother, Apollo, so should Bast. They associated Apollo with Horus, the son of Isis, Herusa Aset, and so called the goddess known as Bast Ba'aset, soul of Isis, which would be the literal translation of her name with the addition of the second T to donate the feminine asset, being among the Egyptian names for Isis. Bastet, however, sorry, I'm gonna put this down for a second. I need to itch myself. Sorry, don't mind me. Bastet, however, was also sometimes linked with the god of perfume and sweet smells. Nefertu, who was thought to be her son and his father. Her son, and this further links to the meaning of her name to the ointment jar. The most obvious understanding would be that originally the name meant something like she of the ointment jar, Ubast, and the Greeks changed the meaning to soul of Isis as they associate her with the most popular goddess in Egypt. Even so, scholars have come to no agreement on the meaning of her name. Associations. Bastet was extremely popular throughout Egypt with both men and women from the second dynasty of Egypt. They tell it says 2670 BCE onward with her cult centered. There's too many BCE, blah blah blah. I'm not good with that, guys. I really apologize. I am not good with that. So basically, from a long time, guys, a long time they worshipped her. Onward with her cult centered at the city of Bubastis. From at least the 5th century BCE, she was first represented as a woman with the head of a lioness, and closely associated with the goddess Sekhmet. But as the deity's iconography depicted her as increasingly aggressive, Bastet's images softened over time to present more of a daily companion and helper than her earlier form as savage avenger. Scholar Geraldine Pinch, I don't know that name, writes, from the pyramid text onward, Bastet has a double aspect of nurturing mother and terrifying avenger. It is the demonic aspect that mainly features in the coffin text and the Book of the Dead, and in medical spells, the slaughterers of Bastet were said to inflict plague and other disasters on humanity. One spell advises pretending to be the son of Bastet in order to avoid catching the plague. Very interesting. Bastet is sometimes rendered in art with a litter of kittens at her feet, but her most popular depiction is of a sitting cat gazing ahead. Aw, guys, I want a Bastet statue with kittens. Oh my god, like seriously, please, someone give that to me. Please, I want that. Like, that would mean so much. So much. Because I've had cats that have given birth, and Bastet is always in mind when it comes to cats, honestly. So, that was just so meaningful. Although she was greatly venerated, she was equally feared, as two of her titles demonstrate: the Lady of Dread and the Lady of Slaughter. She is associated with both Mao, the divine cat, who is an aspect of Ra, and with Mafdet, goddess of justice and the first feline deity in Egyptian history. I know that sometimes Ra would turn into other animals, and I do remember one about the Ishet tree, where he's like a cat with like a knife and he's trying to fight the snake. I think Ra has association with the tree, or am I getting the story mixed up? I don't know. Okay, let's just keep reading. Aspect of Ra and Mafdet, goddess of justice and the first feline deity in Egyptian history. Okay. Both Bastet and Sekhmet took their early forms as feline, defenders of the innocent, avengers of the wronged. From Mafdet, this association was carried on in depictions of Bastet's son, Ma'ahes, I don't know. That's her son, protector of the innocent, who is shown as a lion-headed man. There's a lion-headed man? Oh, that's a cool guy. That sounds so cool. Okay, carrying a long knife, or as a lion. Okay. In Bastet's association with Mao, she is sometimes seen destroying the enemy of Ra, Apophis, by slicing off his head with a knife in her paw. Okay, so that was Bastet and not Ra. I thought Ra turned into a cat. Okay. Yeah. Okay, an image Mao is best known by. In time, as Bastet became more of a familiar companion, she lost all trace of her form and was regularly depicted as a house cat or a woman with the head of a cat, often holding a sistrum. She is sometimes rendered in art with a litter of kittens at her feet, but her most popular depiction is of a sitting cat gazing ahead. That's the cat by her feet. I want something like that. That's so cute. Aww. Role in religion and iconography. Bastet appears early in the 3rd millennium BCE, and her form as an avenging lioness in Lower Egypt. Damehu, or Damehu, and Shimo. I don't remember which ones are which. Those are Lower and Upper Egypt. By the time of the pyramid text, c. 2400 to 2300. I don't know. I'm not good at this. BCE, she was associated with the king of Egypt as his nursemaid. Wait. Basta appears. She was associated with the king of Egypt as his nursemaid in youth and protectors as he grew. In the later coffin text, she retains this role, but is also seen as a protector of the dead. The scholar Richard H. Wilkinson comments on this. In her earliest known form, as depicted on stone vessels of the 2nd dynasty, Bastet was represented as a woman with the maneless head of a lioness. The iconography of the goddess changed, however. Perhaps her nature began to be viewed as milder than that of other lioness deities. Her cult, centered at Bubastis in Lower Egypt, became one of the richest and most luxuriant cities in Egypt, as people from all over the country traveled there to pay their respects to the goddess and have the bodies of their dead cats interred in the city. In Egyptian art, her iconography borrowed from the earlier goddess Mafdet. I didn't know there was a cat goddess before Bastet. That's interesting, because I want to say the story of Bastet is in the creation story. So that's... Anyway, let's see. From her earlier goddess Mafdet, and also from Hathor, a goddess associated with Sekhmet, who was also closely linked to Bastet. I didn't know that. Oh wait, Hathor from goddess associated with Sekhmet. I didn't know Hathor was associated with Sekhmet. Okay, so the appearance of the sistrum in Bastet's hand in some statues is a clear link to Hathor. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Who is traditionally seen carrying the instrument. Hathor is another goddess who underwent a dramatic change from bloodthirsty destroyer to gentle, friendly of humanity. Excuse me. I want to say, the sistrum thingy is an instrument associated with fertility, and like, yeah, I think it's associated with fertility. Okay. From humanity, as she was originally the lioness deity Sekhmet, Omra sent to Earth to destroy humans for their sins. In Bastet's case, although she became milder, she was no less dangerous to those who broke the law or abused others. The tale of Setna and Dabu, I don't know that name. Kaimwesat, Kaimwesat, the son of Ramses II. Kaimwesat, known as the first Egyptologist, was famous for his restoration and preservation efforts of ancient Egyptian monuments. And by the time of the Ptolemaic dynasty, I don't know, was greatly revered as a sage and magician. Although the story may be interpreted in many different ways, Geraldine Pinch argues that this section of the tale can most clearly be understood as an illustration of how Bastet punishes transgressors. In this story, young Prince Setna steals a book from a tomb, even after the inhabitants of the tomb beg him not to. Shortly afterwards, he is in Memphis, near the Temple of Ptah. Hold on, guys. Okay, I just want to make sure that if someone's about to come in my room, I'll pause the video. Okay, but I think we're good. Okay, where were we? Near the Temple of Ptah, when he sees a beautiful woman accompanied by her servants and looks after her. He asks about her and learns her name is Tabotbu, daughter of a priest of Bastet. He has never seen any woman more beautiful in his life, and sends her a note asking her to come to his bed for 10 gold pieces. But she returns a counter offer telling him to meet her at the Temple of Bastet in Saqqara, where she lives, and he will then have all he desires. Setna travels to her villa, where he is eager to get to the business at hand, but the Bulbul has some stipulations. I don't know what that means. First, she tells him he must sign over all his property and possessions to her. He is so consumed with lust that he agrees to this and moves to embrace her. She holds him off, however, and tells him that his children must be sent for and must also sign the documents agreeing to this so that there will be no problems with the legal transference. Setna agrees to this also and sends for his children. While they are signing the papers, the Bulbul disappears into another room and returns wearing a linen dress so sheer that he can see every part of her body. And his desire for her grows almost uncontrollable. With the document signed, he again moves toward her, but no, she has a third demand. His children must be killed so that they will not try to renege. I don't know that word. Renege on the agreement and embroil her in a long, drawn-out court battle. Setna instantly agrees to this. His children are murdered and their bodies thrown into the street. Dude, what? Wow. That's okay. Setna then pulls off his clothes, takes the Bulbul and leads her quickly to the bedroom. As he is embracing her, she suddenly screams and vanishes, as does the room and villa around them. And Setna is standing naked in the street with his thrust into a clay pot. With his ding dong thrust into a clay pot. The pharaoh comes by at this time, and Prince Setna is completely humiliated. Pharaoh informs him that his children still live and that everything he has has been an illusion. Setna then understands he has been punished for his transgression in the tomb and quickly returns the book. He further makes restitution to the inhabitants of the tomb by traveling to another city and retrieving mummies buried there who were part of the tomb inhabitants' families so they can all be reunited in one place. Although scholars disagree on who Tabubu represents, her close association with Bastet as the daughter of one of the goddesses, priests, makes this deity a very likely candidate. The predatory nature of Tabubu, once she has Setna where she wants him, is reminiscent of the cat toying with the mouse. Geraldine Peach concludes that Tabubu is a manifestation of Bastet herself, playing her traditional role of punisher of humans who have offended the gods. In this story, Bastet takes on the form of a beautiful woman to punish a wrongdoer who had violated a tomb. But the story would also have been cautionary to men who viewed women only as sexual objects, and that they would never know whether they were actually in the presence of a goddess and what might happen should they offend her. Worship of Bastet. The goddess was worshipped primarily at Bubastis, but held a position at Saqqara and elsewhere. Wilkinson writes, the goddess's popularity grew over time. In the late period of Greco-Roman times, she enjoyed great statues. The main cult center of this deity was the city of Bubastis, Tel Basta in the eastern delta, and although only the outlines of the temple of Bastet now remain, Herodotus visited the site in the Visited the site in the 5th century BC and praised it for its magnificence. The festival of Bastet was also described by Herodotus, who claimed it was the most elaborate of all the religious festivals of Egypt, with large crowds participating in unrestrained dancing, drinking, and revelry. Herodotus is the primary source for information on the cult of Bastet, and unfortunately does not go into great detail on the particulars of her worship. It seems both men and women served as her clergy, and as with the other Egyptian deities, her temple at Bubastis was the focal point of the city, providing services ranging from medical attention to counseling to food distribution. Herodotus describes this temple. Save for the entrance, it stands on an island. 2 separate channels approach it from the Nile, and after coming up to the entry of the temple, they run around it on opposite sides, each of them 100 feet wide and overshadowed by trees. The temple is in the midst of the city, the whole circuit of which commands a view down into it. For the city's level has been raised, but that of the temple has been left as it was from the first, so that it can be seen into from without. A stone wall, carven with figures, runs around it. Within is a grove of very tall trees, growing round a great shrine, wherein is the image of the goddess. The temple is a square, each side measuring a furlong. A road furlong, measuring a furlong, I don't know what that means. A road paved with stone of about 3 furlongs length leads to the entrance, running eastward through the marketplace towards the temple of Hermes. This road is about 400 feet wide and bordered by trees reaching to heaven. sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful, guys. Oops, sorry. That sounds so gorgeous. The people of Egypt came annually to the great festival of Bastet at Bubastis, which was one of the most lavish and popular events of the year. Geraldine Pinch citing Herodotus claims women were freed from all constraints during the annual festival at Bubastis. They celebrated the festival of the goddess by drinking, dancing, making music, and displaying their genitals. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah. This raising of the skirts by the women, described by Herodotus, had as much to do with freedom from social constraints as it did with the fertility association with the goddess. As with many of the other festivals throughout Egypt, Bastet's celebration was a time to cast aside inhibitions, much in the way modern revelers do in Europe. Revelers do in Europe during Carnival. Why is it spelled like veil? Carnival. Oh well. Or in the United States at Mardi Gras. Herodotus presents a vivid picture of the people traveling to Bubastis for the festival. When the people are on their way to Bubastis, they go by river, a great number in every boat, men and women together. Some of the women make a noise with rattles, others play flutes all the way, while the rest of the women and the men sing and clap their hands as they travel by river to Bubastis. Whenever they come near any other town, they bring their boat near the bank. Then some of the women do as I have said, while some shout mockery of the women of the town. Others dance, and others stand up and lift their skirts. They do this whenever they come alongside any riverside town. But when they have reached Bubastis, they make a festival with great sacrifices, and more wine is drunk at the feast, and then in the whole year besides. It is customary for men and women, but not children, to assemble there to the number of 700,000, as the people of the place say. Although Herodotus claims this festival outstripped all others in magnificence and excess, in reality there were many festivals celebrating many gods which could claim the same. The popularity of this goddess, however, made her celebration of particular significance in Egyptian culture. In the passage above, Herodotus makes note of how the women in the boats mocked those on shore, and this would have been done to encourage them to leave off their daily tasks and join the celebration of the great goddess Bastet. In fact, was second only to Isis in popularity, and when she traveled through Greece to Rome, was equally popular among the Romans and the empire subjects of the later Roman Empire. That's so beautiful. There's a lot more to read. Amulets of cats and litters of kittens were popular New Year gifts, and the name of Bastet was often inscribed on small ceremonial New Year flasks, probably to evoke the goddess as a bestower of fertility of fertility, and because Bastet, like other lioness goddesses, was viewed as a protective deity able to counter the darker forces associated with the demon days at the end of the Egyptian year. There's a lot more, but I think I am going to end this video now. There is so much to learn about Egypt and so much to learn about its culture and history and about sorry guys, to thank the goddess for protecting us, women and children, and just being beautiful and a part of Egypt, and bringing the spirit of the cat with us. Actually, that's really weird just now. I just remembered, I had a dream about cats today. A lot of cats. Ow, my wrist. My wrist has been holding the mic too long. I had a dream about cats actually. I think I was at my aunt's house, and there are a whole bunch of cats, and they had like purple marker all over them. And I remember the male cats had to have the marker on them, because if they didn't, they were gonna get the female cats all pregnant, and somehow the marker made them not. And I remember being like, oh no, the marker's starting to come off, and somebody told me like, oh no, it's okay, and it just smears, but it'll stay. And I was like, okay. I don't know. It was a weird dream. I don't really remember everything about it. But yeah, I remember there being a lot of cats in my dream. That's really odd. Anyway, thank you guys, and thank you, Goddess Bastet, for being with us. Thank you for suggesting this video.